So, what to do when things feel hard? And the first thing I would say is if it feels hard, it's because it is hard. And just give yourself that, at least, to give yourself the recognition that it's not because you're doing something wrong or that you haven't done enough or it shouldn't feel hard. No, if it feels hard, it's because it's hard, right? So we start there. And then I would invite you to ask. I'm going to be calling this the ask technique, where when we ask ourselves a question such as, why is this feeling hard right now? It turns on the part of our brain that is willing to pause and just consider, like, why does this feel hard? Huh. And if we do that, there's less of a chance that we'll just react from this old part of our brain that just habitually responds, usually from some sort of fear. So we first ask a question, why does this feel hard? And within that word ask, or three letters, the A stands for awareness, where as we become aware of what feels hard, if that's the question we're asking, because that's what we're asking right now, we become aware of it. And it's not just through the lens of our thoughts, where our thoughts, because you have such a bright, beautiful mind that wants to figure things out, it's going to like fire off, this is why, and want to give you answers as if that's like then the end, like, zoop, okay, all done, right? And no, it's not all done, because that's one layer of you that hasn't yet assimilated the answer in a deeper, more meaningful way, right? So we start with the thoughts, we ask, why does this feel hard? And so you'll notice some thoughts, some reasons, maybe blame, right? We other, and we say that's they're doing this and this is what's wrong and it's horrific, and maybe there's some truth to that, maybe, but we're not needing to do anything about that right now. The most important thing is just becoming aware of the question that you're asking and kind of falling back into an experience as the answer. Right? So we start with kind of the head. Usually we're kind of thinking a lot. We live between our ears quite a bit. And then we just let ourselves fall down more into the heart and the tummy, maybe even the very low belly, and feel what it's like to sit with that question without the need to figure it out. We're not needing to figure it out. That's not a step. It's not. We're just sitting with the question. And so this is awareness, that within awareness is inherent allowance that's not necessarily agreeing with or condoning and saying that's okay to do. No, it's just allowing the fact that it is, right? That whatever is aware, for whatever you're aware of, is great, right? And so it's the same quality as recognizing that if it feels hard, it's because it is hard, at least on one layer. We don't have to go to all the other layers and say, yeah, but in this frame, then blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we're going to start with just this earthen human frame that feels it's hard because it is hard. And so we ask and we're aware of what is. The S in ask is stay with. We just learn to stay with what is then. And through the awareness and that kind of implicit allowance of just being aware of it, as if we're wanting to just observe it, we're just wanting to get to know it. And we stay with our full body awareness, our mental awareness, our emotional awareness. We learn how to stay with what it is, what the awareness offers, without the mental overlay that's always assessing, evaluating, trying to figure out, trying to solve, trying to get somewhere. That will block you from more deeply staying with. And this is an art and it can take a while to really practice, to kind of master staying with. But if you could stay with the experience that you're having in relationship to this hardship for at least 90 seconds, it will begin on a nervous system level kind of rewiring. It resets your ability to tolerate something that otherwise has kind of hijacked you, that feels so intense that you hide from it, usually through mental proliferation. mentally trying to do something else with it versus just being with what is. And then from there, the K stands for curiosity, spelt wrong because it's funny. So I'm like, I actually really like that. Curiosity. Curiosity inward, you could kind of sense into the quality of what it means to be in curiosity, to be curious in your more meditative space or mindfulness space. It can also be allowing the intellect to get curious of like, what's this about? What is this showing me? You know? And then a deeper kind of more full curiosity is one that is willing to sense more broadly what the truths are that are kind of bubbling up for you in your awareness as you ask a question like this. Why is this hard for me? And you can do this with really any question. It can be quite a efficient way to move with the flow of consciousness, to ask, to be aware and allow that awareness to stay with what bubbles up and to get curious about it and kind of loop back to maybe asking again and then being aware and allowing and staying with and being curious. And this to me is such a accurate way to attune to what consciousness naturally does. The consciousness, the non-physical part of our awareness that kind of just brings life into the body, is always doing this kind of easy loop of being. And the more we can deliberately attune to it through the lens of our human self that tends to really be more in kind of fight, flight, or freeze and trying to figure out and do and get better and blah, 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 the more we can let the human layer talk to this kind of consciousness layer of us, it's conscious, it's awake, it's just is. The easier things tend to get. Everything gets a little lighter, sometimes very quickly. It can just become simple and unobscured by the challenges of the world. And so I'll pause there, but you can, if you don't know who I am, you could find me on my website, lindsaykluwen.com, and fill out the little form, or sometimes I'll have a Calendly link if you want to schedule an initial session with me that way. There's usually a few openings each month that you could snag. And I look forward to talking with you next time, and I look forward to seeing you soon.